Welcome to episode 97 of Explode Your Expert Biz Show, brought to you by gtex.org.uk. I'm your host, Simone Vincenzi, the expert strategist, and this is the podcast for experts who want to grow their businesses by becoming the authority in their niche while making an impact in the world. This week I have the pleasure to interview the one and only Jonny Cooper. Jonny is the founder of the Facebook group Jonny Hates Marketing and thesuccessparty.com. Jonny has helped hundreds of coaches just like you find a way through the noise and implement what he calls effortless marketing principles, which we are going to talk about today. Since growing a business to 8 figures and exiting, Jonny has been supporting professional coaches who want to grow their practice and find more of their ideal clients more easily. In this episode with Jonny, we are going to talk about how to structure your programs as an expert, how to create kick-ass group programs, and how to create recurring revenues through group programs. You can find all the show notes here in the description here in the podcast, and also you can find the transcript and get bonus resources at www.gtex.org.uk/episode 97. You can find the link as well in the show notes and as well all the links to connect with Jonny. And if you want to make incredible sales by seminars or webinars, then we have created the Ultimate Selling from the Stage checklist, which is the most comprehensive checklist to help you sell more from the stage, but selling in a very authentic way, selling in a way that feels comfortable, congruent, honest to you, but converts like crazy at the same time. And also, if you want to receive support and you find this journey quite lonely and isolating, you want to connect with the world-class experts from all over the world, then you can keep the conversation going from this show on our Facebook group, which is Explode Your Expert Biz. So you can find it at Explode Your Expert Biz on Facebook, and the link as well is in the show notes. You want to reach out to me, you want to ask me any question, you want to be featured on this show as well, then contact me at simone@gtex.org.uk. My email as well is in the show notes. And without further ado, let's hear it from Jonny Cooper. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Biz Show. Simone Vincenzi here with the one and only Jonny Cooper. How you doing, Jonny?
Hey, hello. I'm definitely the one and only, just like you're the one and only Simone Vincenzi, aren't you?
Exactly. We are all the one and only. Now, fun facts before we start talking about creating products and creating services, which is going to be an incredible episode, knowing what Jonny talks about. We had a conversation before when we were starting, and Jonny said, you know what, it's a bit weird because you are more Mediterranean than me, and then you look quite pale, and I'm more tan than you are. And I said, you know what, Jonny, that's actually true. I mean, my wife calls me mozzarella. That's how my wife called me. She says that I'm a mozzarella. But there is a reason why. And I want to give you a bit of history here, and then we can get started. Now, the history is that the south of Italy was colonized by the Vikings and by northern populations. So actually, my grandfather from my mom's side, he is very like blonde hair, blue eyes, and incredible pale skin. My mom, very light hair, light eyes, and then very pale skin. So my father has the typical Italian feature, you know, like this olive skin. Got all this. So I got the curves from my dad.
Okay.
But I got the skin from my mom. So that was the reason why. But we're not talking about skin colors, aren't we? Right now.
I don't think so. I would hope that this podcast appeals to anyone, irrespective of their skin color.
Exactly. In particular, after what happened recently with H&M and all the palava that is going on at the moment for that ads. Bad H&M, you don't have to do this kind of things. But now, Jonny, let's talk about products. Tell us a bit more before we start the interview. What and the how-tos. Tell us a bit more about your journey and why you teach coaches and speakers how to create great products.
Yeah, well, it's as simple as this, Simone. I've been struggling to find my voice and to build a coaching practice for longer than I'd like to admit. In fact, I sold a business pretty much at the turn of the century and fell into coaching by accident. I am an accidental coach, if anything. It was simply this, that we had a financial services firm which we sold, and some of my corporate clients just asked me to kind of continue advising them with their business after we sold our financial business. So I got into growth coaching, exit strategies, general marketing, and then social media came along in the mid noughties, and I got asked to sort of help people with that kind of thing. So I've been a bit of a rag bag of an accidental coach, up until fairly recently, really, when I feel as if I've found my true voice through my Facebook group, which is Jonny Hates Marketing, for anyone who doesn't know, and my core platform, which is called The Success Party. And I really kind of resonate with coaches who are either just starting out or they've been going for a while and they're struggling to find their voice, find their feet, find their ideal clients, build products to serve those ideal clients, solve their problems and help with their desires and that kind of stuff. So I'm really comfortable, working with coaches now. It's my playground. They are my people because I've probably made all the mistakes that they don't have to make once they start working with me and I start helping them.
Brilliant. Well, I think that I can definitely resonate a lot with what you said before. When I started my journey as well, it was a nightmare, an
Oh, yeah.
absolute nightmare. Oh my God! Like all the possible mistakes we could have made, I've made them. So, but that's why we do what we do, Jonny. Right?
Yeah, well,
So then,
you just do crazy stuff when you don't know. I'm sure you're aware of the 4 stages of competence. You must have spoken about this,
Mhm.
where you start off being unconsciously incompetent, and that means that you don't know what you don't know. And the next stage is you become consciously incompetent, where you become aware of what you don't know. And as you move into competence, you become consciously competent when you have to think about all the stuff that you're doing to do it right. And eventually, you reach the level of mastery, which we call unconscious competence, where you don't have to think about what you're doing. It just happens naturally. But,
Mhm.
but most people, and this is where I started off as a coach, are unconsciously incompetent. You just literally don't know what you don't know. So you're completely ignorant to the possibilities of doing it any different and trying to do it the right way. And, I just love giving people a leg up in that first step, to finding their first client, for instance, building their first
Absolutely.
product, and getting themselves out to market in those early days.
I think that to say in very common words or very colloquial words,
Yes.
the unconscious incompetence, you're just doing a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's what at the end of the day
Oh,
what you're doing. I remember,
yeah.
Jonny, we started with this brilliant idea to grow our business. Now, the brilliant idea was doing a flash mob in uh, in Trafalgar Square, and we had a flash mob on
Oh,
the Tate Modern, Trafalgar Square, and St. Paul Cathedral. We spent 2 months marketing it and planning it. And then we
okay.
went with A3 sheets of paper
Yeah.
inside Trafalgar Square
With
with
letters on.
interested into coaching, come and
Okay.
stop by. Now,
Wow.
that was one of the
Brave.
biggest,
Yeah.
brave and very stupid as well.
Brave.
I mean, bravely stupid because we basically wasted 2 months of our life doing something that didn't work. But
Yeah.
then we learned maybe flash mob is not the best way to grow our business. But let's
Yeah.
keep going, Jonny. What's
Yeah.
working? We said that we were going to talk about having a series of products, and that's something, a
Yes.
topic that I'm really interested in. I think is crucial. Tell us more
Yeah.
about why a series of product and how we can design those series of products.
Yeah, sure. Well, The justification for a series of products, the reason for it, um, is that you need to meet a lot of different desires and a lot of different pains with different clients. So people will be at different stages all the time in terms of their desire to learn, their ability to pay, for instance, the amount of time they've got to spend on stuff, and other things that are personal to individuals, like their learning style, how people assimilate information. So you'll get a bunch of people who will never ever sit with you on a coaching call because they just like to read stuff. So, why not build some products that are probably the easiest to create, if maybe the hardest to market? This is where the sort of conflict comes in. So writing a book, writing content, creating regular stuff comes easy to a lot of people. I mean, I write blogs every single day. I do a daily brain tattoo. But wrapping that into a product that maybe costs $9 or $20 or something like that, it's pretty hard to market because you need a lot of people to buy that stuff before it makes any sense. So the kind of next level of product for me is a group coaching program where you get a bunch of people on a relatively low cost, so certainly not as expensive as one-to-one, and you can coach them and train them and help them together in a group. And that actually forms the core of my product range at the moment, which I'll come back to shortly. And then kind of the next level is the one-to-one coaching, where you're working with people face-to-face, just them and you. And this kind of brings into play what I call proximity pricing. Have you heard of that concept?
Yes, I've heard of it, but
Yeah.
please explain.
Well, it's pretty simple. I mean, it just says proximity pricing means that the nearer they get to you, the more they have to pay. The closer they get to you, the more they have to pay. Not just in physical distance, but in the amount of time and attention that they get from you. So clearly, your one-to-one coaching product should be the most expensive keynote product. Group coaching gives people a lot of the benefits of one-to-one because they get some personal time with you, albeit in a group environment, but can be a lot cheaper, less expensive because you're delivering to more than one person. And if you get the hang of video coaching and using a platform like Zoom or Skype, there's a almost unlimited amount of people that you can broadcast to in a group coaching session. But then this kind of mass market stuff, which I haven't decided yet which way a pyramid should be. I'm pretty hopeless with pyramids. But clearly, if you think of the three layers as digital products, group coaching, and then one-to-one coaching, maybe the one-to-one coaching is the top of the pyramid. The top in the sense that it's the most expensive and it's accessible to the smallest number of people. Whereas the bottom of your pyramid is your digital products that anybody can get access to at lower cost. And in the middle, as I say, you've got group coaching that more people can have access to, but still gets a bit of you, if you like. And all this makes sense then in terms of your proximity pricing, because it gets more expensive as you go up the pyramid.
I see what you mean. And I think is incredibly smart and incredibly simple. Explained it in this way, because then if someone is starting out, in order to have a digital product, group product, and your one-to-one. But I've seen, and that's a mistake that I've done myself at the beginning, made myself at the beginning, and I've seen a lot of people that when they're starting out actually do the opposite.
Yes.
So they start giving away their one-to-one coaching. Why do you think is that? Why do you think we fall into that trap?
Yeah, they start giving it away because it's sometimes called imposter syndrome, isn't it? Where the little lizard brain, the little devil on your shoulder, is whispering in your ear to say that you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You need to practice. You need to prove yourself. People won't believe you. You need to get out there and demonstrate for free that you can do it before people will pay you. And this is a huge misnomer. And having said what I've just said about the three layers of the pyramid, I actually believe and this is why I get confused about which way up the pyramid should be. For a lot of coaches, the best thing you can do to start with is one-to-one paid coaching. That's the best thing you can do. And the reason is simple, that you need far fewer people to make a living out of it. You need to reach far fewer people and engage far fewer people on a one-to-one basis. And they're easier to find. I mean, in Facebook groups these days and in LinkedIn, with the amazing search function in LinkedIn, you can start having conversations with people right away today before you build a funnel, before you create a marketing machine, before you spend a penny on Facebook ads. You can go full out organic on Facebook and LinkedIn and just find someone to talk to. And this goes to the heart of my, Johnny hates marketing thing, and the whole sort of effortless marketing concepts that I show in that group. It's simply this: instead of thinking of it as a marketing task, because the word marketing, is full of trepidation and anxiety and overwhelm. Just think of it as finding your next client. Finding your next client. And if your next client is a one-to-one client, and you have conversations every single day in a Facebook group with potential one-to-one clients, maybe do a little bit of LinkedIn as well, having conversations there. LinkedIn's suddenly got really good now with live conversations
Yeah.
in the message thread. If you do that every day for a week and you don't get someone agreeing at the end of the week to be a one-to-one client, you're in the wrong business. Yeah, it's got to happen. You have to find a one-to-one client if you have daily conversations. And I think that, certainly if you start from a point as a coach where, you're desperate for a client, let's say, and that's a conversation for another day because you should never be desperate. But if you really, really want to get a client right now, finding a one-to-one client is a million times easier than trying to market an ebook for $9.99 or something. Because so what, even if you sell 10 ebooks at $9.99, big deal, you've made $100. What are you going to do with that? And I work with all my clients on the basis that, look, do you have any one-to-one clients yet? If the answer to that is no, it's, well, don't do an ebook. Don't do a digital product. Don't try and do a digital launch, because, it seems to me that when you're coaching one-to-one and then you progress onto group coaching sessions, you learn so much about who your ideal clients are. You learn about what they want, what their pain is, what their desires are. And you learn about who you truly are as well. I mean, when I started one-to-one coaching, I found my voice. I started to understand what I could bring to the world, what Johnny's goodness really was, why people would want to hire me. And only after that did I start creating content and thinking about, writing an ebook or, writing blogs that appeal to my audience. Because by then I'd spoken to a bunch of them face to face. I knew who they were and they knew who I was, and I knew what I could do. So, the big takeaway for me from today, when you mentioned this, I was really excited about it. I just wanted to put over that all these people I see trying to sell digital courses and ebooks, and I know they're not making a bunch of money. I know it's not working. And I know why, because they haven't tried their voice face to face with one-to-one clients first. And I just think that's so important. So I'm getting massive results. I mean, this year, actually, sorry, 2017, I coached over a dozen coaches into their first one-to-one coaching interactions. And they're flying now. They've gone from that to 5 one-to-one to 10 one-to-one clients. And the reason this seems counterintuitive sometimes is that, you are selling your time for money, aren't you? You're exchanging your time for money.
Yes, you are.
So you can't go on forever, getting more and more one-to-one clients unless you kind of clone yourself or you get an assistant to deliver it. But it's just such an essential building block, I think, for people starting a coaching business or trying to grow it. Understand what your clients want, who your clients are, how you can help them. And just get some one-to-one coaching out there and charge them what it's worth. Charge them what it's worth.
Now, for people that are now more experts, let's say that they have passed the first stage, which is I got my one-to-one clients, I got the conversations. Now, what do you think would be the best way for them to structure their business? And does the focus needs to still be on building up more one-to-one clients, or is there a shift of focus? What are your suggestions in that case?
Yeah, definitely. I think once you've got your chops together, one-to-one coaching, group coaching sessions are then the next thing as you start to expand your reach and your reputation and you got some testimonials and all that good stuff, so that anybody hitting you for the first time can see that you pretty much know what you're doing. The time has come now to cast your net a bit wider and appeal to more people. And I think then a good group coaching program is the next stage. And some of the master coaches that you see in Facebook groups, people like Mark Mawinney in the coaching jungle, they thrive on these group coaching programs. Typically 90 days, because it takes 12 weeks, 90 days to kind of embed a transformation in people generally. And you can launch one of these every single month and get anything from 4 to 6 to 8. I start my programs with a minimum of 4, but a maximum of 8, and with a 1 hour coaching session every single week, so they get 12 1 hours. It's a great way to for them to get exposure to you and all the good stuff you do. You can create 12 modules quite easily that walks them through building their business in stages, and you can launch one of these every single month of the year. So 3 months in the year, you can have 3 parallel 12-week coaching groups going on at any one time with 6 to 8 people on. If your pricing, as it should be, is between 1,500 and 2,500 euros, pounds, dollars, whatever, it's happy days. You're making a good living from that, and you're impacting on a lot of different people's lives. And I think from then the challenge is just the continuation program. What do people do once they've finished the group coaching program? Because you don't want them to go away and buy something from somebody else. You want to keep serving them with your good stuff. And I think that's the point where you can start to build a really powerful digital program that people can buy into and become part of a community, part of a group. And again, just mentioning Mark Mawinney, he has a secret coach club, as he calls it. And it's like a continuation program. It's $100 a month, and you actually get a written little ebook every single month that he writes. It's about 16 pages, something like that. And you get other privileges, like access to a secret group on Facebook and that kind of stuff. But it's just a really neat way of taking people from, having perhaps been a one-to-one client into a group coaching thing that they're going to benefit from on a specific topic. And then a continuation program, which is like a digital product that there's a lot more hands off for you, and I think for a lot of us coaches, I don't know how you feel, Simone. I mean, you're a workaholic, but it'd be great at some point, wouldn't it, to get a real good passive income stream going. And this sort of, it seems to me, this digital continuation program is the way to do that.
But we have, so if you're looking at GTEx, I'm a workaholic because, as I said, in the interview that we did before, I want GTEx to be a $1 billion company. So
yeah,
I got to work for it. The B doesn't happen by not putting the hours in. I haven't seen any B with millions. Yes, absolutely. It's not that difficult to make millions, but billions are a bit more difficult. So if you're looking at GTEx as well, we have a continuation program. We have a lot of recurring revenues.
Yes.
Literally, just with the money that we have every month coming in, we're fine.
Yeah.
But then we focus on growing and growing and growing and growing. And I think that's depend on what kind of lifestyle you want to have. It baffles me when, for example, last year was the year we made more money, but the year I took most holidays.
Yeah.
I got married. I took 3 months off. So it was 3 months completely off of no work whatsoever. And the company kept growing. So I think that everyone needs to design their business depending on what they want to achieve, what they want their life to be, what are their personal goals. Some people have goals, which is, I just want to have a nice lifestyle. I can make 100K a year, have a nice lifestyle. I go on holiday. I don't work much.
Yeah.
And other people say, I want to become the number one in my industry and I want to build massive companies. So that depends on who you are. But what I want to check with you, Jonny, is regarding the group program. Let's talk more about group programs.
Yes.
Because a lot of our listeners, they are now already running their businesses.
Yes.
What do you think makes a great group program? If there is like kind of a checklist or element that we can say, this will make a great group program, I'm sure that our listeners right now would love that.
Yeah, I think it's about a specialism. It's finding a particular, specific, easy to market and easy to describe program. Um, so it can be 10 clients in 90 days, for instance. That's a great title for a program. Or public speaking mastery in 90 days. You could do. Get 200 speaking gigs a year, 12-week coaching program. I think it's important to have a specific topic to hang your hat on, and this actually applies to coaches in general. It pains me to see how many coaches are unable to succinctly describe the one thing that they do for their clients. The one big thing. I hear coaches all the time, and I read them all the time saying, I'm an inspirational life coach.
What,
Yeah.
what does it
So
mean? So what?
So what? Yeah. I think any statement that you can say "so what" to isn't a very powerful
Yeah.
statement. Anything that needs qualifying beyond the initial elevator pitch. I mean, I say to people, I help professional coaches, trainers, therapists, and consultants find more of their ideal clients more easily. So anybody who's one of those four professionals who wants more clients knows that they can come to me, and that's what I'll do. But just to say you're a life coach, and it's the same with a personal trainer. If you call yourself, Dave Higgins Personal Training, well, big deal. There's a million personal trainers out there. If you rebranded yourself as, I don't know, the rock hard abs guy or something, everybody would know what it is you do. You get the idea, and I'm sure you're of exactly the same mind. And the essence of a good group training program is to have a tag, have a hook. What's it about? What will I get if I jump on your 12-week training program? How will I be changed by the end of it compared to how I was at the start? And that's what everybody wants to know. And if if the level of transformation that you promise is reasonable for the amount of money that you're going to charge, then that becomes an irresistible offer at that point, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what else? What else in a group program is important to have?
So I think it's important to have a structure.
Mm-hmm.
So I publish in my marketing collateral for for the Success Project, as I call it, Success Project 2018. I publish a 12-module synopsis of what they're going to get when they join it. So what each week will be. And then when we get together, not only do they know what to expect, but I know what I'm supposed to be talking about instead of just waffling. I think badly run group programs are a nightmare, and you see people dropping out halfway through because there's nothing there that they can understand, or they feel chaotic. So having a synopsis for it, having a program, and telling people beforehand what they're going to get is really, really important. So you set expectations. Another key thing I've found, which helps with marketing, and it might seem a little bit of a little bit of a trick, this, a little bit of a hack, but I never publish the start date. I just say that this is going to start shortly. It's going to start in February once we've filled all the places. And that takes the pressure off you then as the coach to actually fill all the spaces that you want within a reasonable time. And the idea of sort of recruiting people one by one, it's not dependable. It's not predictable. You don't really know for sure when you're going to get the 6 people or the 8 people that you want on the course. So give yourself a bit of leeway. Don't say this course will start on Monday, the 12th of February at 6 p.m. Otherwise, on the 11th of February, you'd be going, shit, I've only got 4 people. So that's another core thing. And I think that makes a course successful from the coach's point of view. So in terms of what makes it successful from the participant's point of view, it's really just having a structure and having a clear, simple goal, an objective. As I said before, and I'll say again, how will I be changed in the 12 weeks that this group course lasts? How will I be different at the end of it compared with how I was at the beginning. And if that transformation is worth paying for, then I'll pay for it. I'll jump on.
And regarding accountability, do you think is
Yes.
important in a group program, accountability? And if yes, what's the best way to structure it?
Yes, I do a couple of things. Everybody who joins a group course of mine gets what I call a success plan, which is a Google Doc. So it's a shared doc, which I populate initially in a form of a template, basically. And we agree as we go through it certain objectives and milestones. And we have at the end of this of the success plan, we have an action page where we agree on a particular week what they're going to do before the next week. So they get a bit of homework, And I also started pairing people up. So hopefully we can get an even number. If not, I'll be the odd number. I'll pair up with one of the other people and hold each other to account. So they go off, they break out during the week before the next call. They'll speak to each other, they'll help each other, lift each other, and brainstorm a little bit. And it's a kind of accountability buddy, as I call it, And, hopefully each week then, everybody on the course has made some progress. They've made the progress that they said they would make. And by the time of the next call, they're itching to know what the next level is. So you should think of it, the 12 weeks as a ladder with 12 rungs, rather than just a footpath with 12 steps on it. You've got to be going ever higher towards your goal each week. And if you can do that, if you can achieve that, for your clients over 12 weeks, by the end of it, they're going to be buzzing and they're going to want more. They're either going to volunteer for one-to-one coaching. They're going to jump on your next group program, which I've had more than once. People have joined consecutive group programs, or at the very least, they're going to want your continuation program, which, as we mentioned, could be a reasonably priced digital product, $100 a month or something.
That's brilliant. I think that sums up how to create and run a great group program. You get few people in, you support them, you make sure that there is accountability built in there, and you make your life much easier as a coach or a speaker or a trainer to run the course. And people have an incredible experience. And also, already what's the next step. That's what I loved about our conversation. Knowing upfront. So what's going to be the next step for the people that are now part of the program? Because then once you know it up front, then there is no guesswork, right? You're not really thinking about where is then the next client coming from. You already have a bunch of clients that can immediately upgrade to your next package. So I think that's really crucial.
I know. I've noticed you're very good at this as well. Your whole web presence and your whole demeanor is about clarity. It's about most wanted actions. It's about calls to action, and this has to run through everything you do. You either get that or you don't. And people who don't get it, you see websites where there's no call to action, or I land on websites all the time, and I'm thinking, what do they want me to do? What do they want me to do next? I'm here on the website, but they're not asking me to do anything. So you're absolutely right. And, the same applies whether you're building a digital product or one-on-one coaching or group coaching, as we've been talking about. What do you want them to do? Where's the clarity? Where's the objective? What's going to happen? What's going to happen next? I'm sure you do this in your speaking, don't you? You say, you tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you've told them. That's the old adage, isn't it?
Absolutely. It works everywhere. It works every time. In speaking, in writing, in courses, is communication.
Communication and clarity.
Is communication. I might start using it with my wife as well right now, just to make sure.
That's another can of worms.
I don't know. No, maybe not. Maybe not. She's just like in the room beside. Hopefully, she's not listening. She didn't hear this one, but now
I won't tell her. Don't worry.
Please do. Please don't. And if you're listening, don't tell her. Shh. Okay, it's our little and
it's our secret.
Is our secret with all our thousands of listeners. Also, now, Jonny, thank you very much for this interview. Absolutely loved it.
It's
Thank
been
you
my
for
pleasure.
dropping value bombs. I appreciate it. How can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, the easiest way is through my website, which is thesuccessparty.com. So there's a very simple sign up on thesuccessparty.com. I've got a really fantastic effortless marketing blueprint, which people can get for completely free just by sticking in their email address and name. So thesuccessparty.com is where all that's at. And yeah, jump into the Facebook group as well. I'm very easy to find on there. It's called Jonny Hates Marketing. There's nobody else even vaguely called Jonny Hates Marketing on on Facebook, so you'll find me easily. But yeah, either of those things.
Brilliant, fantastic. So make sure that you go to the successparty.com and on Facebook, Johnny Hates Marketing. And also there in the Facebook group, you will see, if you search Simone Vincenzi, you will see a training that I delivered as well, just like literally half an hour ago
I was so
for
proud. I was so proud.
for his group on how to get speaking gigs and how to sell from the stage. So that's part of the group, and is interviewing a lot of incredible guests. I know that soon you have also John Lee Dumas delivering a training for your tribe. So great group to be part of. Make sure that you join it. I'm part of it, so you will see me there and sticking around.
Thank you so
Johnny,
much.
thank you very much for this interview. It's been a pleasure.
It's been an absolute gas. Anytime, somebody.
And you sexy listeners, yeah, I'm talking about you. Thank you very much for listening to this show. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what the heck are you waiting for? Just hit that juicy, sexy subscribe button there in front of you. Here we go. That's the move, and then you will receive immediately the next episode next week. And also, I would love to know what you love the most about this interview. What was the value bomb that you are going to implement in your business? Write it in the review, let me know. And also, any question, make sure that you can reach out to me at simone at gtex.org.uk. Guys, thank you very much for listening, and up until next time, remember one thing, that together we grow exponentially. Ciao.